Hey guys, Mike from blackbearcustomkydex. I got a video for you today on 3 sheaths that are going to Atlee up in Canada, and they're all 3 sort of more of the same, but a little bit off the beating path from what you're probably used to seeing on this channel. So I'll start with, I'll go from what I consider to be least to most exciting of the bunch. So the first one is a scout carry sheath for an MTech knife. And I have no idea what the model or anything is on this knife, but it's kind of got that classic like K-bar spear point style blade to it. I guess it is the, well, MT528. I don't know if that's the model number or if that's the steel that it's using, but in any event, it did have that really cheap, fake paracord handle wrap. He told me to get rid of that before I made the sheath. So I took it off, I'll put it in the package and ship it back to him in case he ever wants to reattach it. But it comes with a caveat that if you do reattach it, Atlee, it's not going to quite fit correctly in this sheath. As it was, because it's a pretty thin blade stock, I would say that that's somewhere around 1/8 of an inch thick. And there's nothing to really grip onto. I had to sort of pinch the blade itself in a couple spots just to make sure that you had sufficient retention. It does have this nice smooth powder coating on it, so hopefully that'll prevent it from getting scratched up over time on the sheath. Normally I don't pinch the blade at all, but with this it was necessary. He asked for it to be a right hand scout carry, so it's going to carry behind his back. He'll draw with his right hand. Brother, you got to be really careful with this one because so I'm not a big fan of scout carry to begin with, because 2 things. Number one, it's really hard to see your sheath, so it's difficult to resheath the knife for me. And number 2, if you ever did fall directly on that thing, if that was where all your weight was, you might damage your knife, but more importantly, you're probably going to sustain a back injury. So you got to be really careful. With something this thin, I don't think the back injury is terribly likely, but where it is that much narrower than a regular sheath, I think it's going to be really difficult. I'm having a hard time when I can look at the thing. I think it's going to be really difficult to resheath this. So please be careful. As far as the carry system goes, he asked for 2 nylon straps with pulled out snaps on them. Excuse me, guys. So that's what we have here. These are going to be a little bit difficult to operate at first, but as you get used to them and as they kind of break in, they become a little bit smoother. So I put 2 on each just because they're wide. I didn't want to do real thin straps just because I don't like that. This feels a lot more stable. You can see that they carry pretty perfectly at that height. I actually strung them out on a piece of wire and measured them down before putting the rivets in them, just to make sure that I had that right. So anyway, that should be pretty comfortable for you, hopefully, and that's that. The next one on the list is a Karambit, and I have no idea who makes this. It is HX Outdoors. Okay. 440C stainless. The other side's got some, I wouldn't presume to know what language. Maybe somebody out there would know if my camera will focus. Well, there's some definitely Asian lettering on there. I would guess Japanese, but anyway, without further ado, it's this thing, pretty mean looking, and he had asked, so the original sheath that it comes with just doesn't really grip the blade very well. It's very loose. So he'd asked for something that can kind of grip the handle a little bit, just give him a little better retention. And this was actually one of the hardest knives I've done, because the handle doesn't have that much to grip onto, but even when you do get up here, you've got so much other contour to worry about. So this thing was a pain in the butt, but I did fight with it until I figured it out. So getting it to go back into the sheath, sometimes if you have those those little sawbacks. If you lift those up too high, they're going to get snagged in the Kydex a little bit, so it becomes difficult to push this back into the sheath. But if you kind of low ball, think low balling it, keep the knife a little bit low and just rotate it in, it goes pretty easy. And get a ballistic one-handed draw with this thing. So I'm not actually 100% sure where he intends to wear this. I would assume, just being a karambit, that it'll probably be a reverse grip kind of thing, in which case, because this is so tightly curled, a lot of karambits are a little bit, they're less curved. So with this one, I unfortunately wasn't able to get a real clean spot for the pinky, but what I did do was put that scoop there, right here. So what you want to do is put your pinky, if you can, I've got pretty big hands, so I assume this should work for most people, but if you can, get your pinky on that scoop so that when you draw, it'll fall right into the choil there. You definitely don't want to have your pinky too low and get yourself on that blade. That'd be bad. So it does resheath pretty easy. I'm terrible with my left hand, and I'm not having a problem lefting it back in there. So anyway, that's the karambit. I think that looks pretty cool. Again, ballistic one-handed draw. And you get really solid retention with that. Alright, so currently it's set up to carry reverse grip left side or forward grip right side. But you can easily remove the tech lock. Excuse me. There are a pile of different positions that you can find with this tech lock. I made sure there were at least 4 or 5, and yeah, it should be good to go. Alright, the last one is, sorry guys, I'm still really tired. The last one is for a cold steel vaquero, and it was originally going to be a vaquero. It's a Voyager, and I hope I'm not making an idiot of myself, and vaquero is Voyager in some other language, but anyway. So he asked for this one to be one of my IWB sheaths, only it would be in the left back pocket, drawing in reverse grip, and because it is such a large folder, it made more sense to use the pocket clip on the knife itself rather than build, if you guys have seen my other inside the waistband auto deploy sheaths, a lot of the time I'll build a little, I don't even know what to call it, it's just like a saddle hook, a little hanger essentially. So you have the knife and the sheath inside your waistband, and there's a hook made of Kydex attached to that sheath that comes up over your belt, or up over your waistline, just to keep it in place, just to balance it there. And as you draw up, a static tether attached to an IWB belt clip or a tech lock or whatever will catch up and deploy your blade. It'll pop the sheath off, and the sheath deploys the blade. So this is the same concept. Only difference is this time I have the pocket clip on the knife itself is what's balancing it, and I'm attached to an ulti clip. So, and I just attached it, and I gotta say it's not very comfortable. The ulti clip alone is a pretty aggressive feel. So maybe I could back it with some Kydex. That would make it feel a little better. But anyway, I'll figure it out before I send it. Maybe I'll switch to an IWB clip. But he had said something about how sometimes he just doesn't want to wear a belt. So I thought maybe it would be nice to give him an option that would work with or without a belt. So ulti clips are good for that. So anyway, yeah, I look like I'm playing with my butt. So let me get up and show you guys. So as you can see, that's it right there. You can see the paracord tether, the ulti clip. So this is very well concealed. You'd have no idea that I'm carrying this thing. This is a massive folder. Let's check it out when you want it. Right there. Look at this thing. Ridiculous. That sucker, just in case you're wondering, I'm going to measure this guy. Alright, so that is a full 12 inches end to end when open. And the blade is about 5 3/8. So this thing is honking. Let me show you that one more time. Putting these things back, very easy. loaded essentially. Alright, so you just stash this. What am I snagging on? Alright. Stash this in your pocket, any which way you want it. See how deep that rides? I mean, as long as your pocket is big enough. That's the only stipulation. You just need the pocket to be big enough. But when you want that thing, I'll admit it's actually a little bit, I feel like I have to readjust my hand a little bit. Maybe partly because I'm not left-handed. I'm terrible with my left hand. But I think also partly because this rides so deep. I'm snagging on the button here. Alright, so when you want it, you reach back, you grab it. Maybe you have to readjust your hand slightly, but I mean, that's pretty easy. Even for an idiot left-hander. Not that left-handed people are idiots, but my left hand is an idiot. So anyway, that's pretty much that. It's a very simple concept, but a little bit off the beating path from the norm. I'd never really thought to carry an auto-deploy sheath in my back pocket, but I gotta say, I actually really like that. Sorry, fighting with the ulti-clip here. So, yeah, this thing's a little bit, it's a lot of bit uncomfortable. Maybe I gotta figure something else out. Maybe we gotta go with Night IBB clip after all. I don't know. In any event, I am really impressed by this carry idea that he had, so that's pretty much what we got. So, guys, if you like these sheaths, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you like the channel, subscribe, and definitely comment down below. I'd love your opinions on all these knives and all these sheaths. And how about, what's your favorite cold steel folder? That's a good combo to get going. Alright guys, I appreciate you tuning in, and stick around for the next one. God bless.